Man, 50. Born. Big 50. That's a 50 on a 50 flip. On a gorilla knocking. Coming with the full clip. So, I'm gonna do some invites. So a lot of people say I didn't do no invites. Let them know I was going live. So I'm gonna take this time to stall and invite people in. So earlier I did a broadcast on Larry Hoover's compassionate release situation. Now, after I do videos, I normally do a Q&A. So this will be open for anybody who want to ask questions. I don't care what the question is. The worst thing I can tell you is I don't know, because I don't know everything. Contrary to popular opinion, some people might think I do. I just know a whole lot of stuff. So I'm just going through inviting people in my friends list, and I'm seeing people pop up I ain't seen in a long time. We got a whole lot of stuff going on. Y'all share the video, invite your friends, tell your friends to invite 2 friends, and tell them to tell the 2 friends to invite 2 friends, and so on, and let your hair grow on. So I'm gonna do a few more. I'm gonna do a few more, then we're gonna get started here. If y'all got any questions, you can either ask to come in and I'll answer them, or you can post them in the comments. If I see them, I'll try to address whatever questions y'all ask, because I don't really have anything to talk about, but I have to always leave an opportunity for people to come in and ask questions on whatever I'm talking about. Normally, the questions is related to the live, but it ain't really a whole lot to add or take away from that. But we'll get a couple more in here, and then we're about to rev up. And once we get started, we can go. Peace, everybody. Okay. So, like I say, I don't really have anything specific to talk about, so this can go anywhere. This information that we're going over today can go anywhere, because there's no filter, there's no subject, just chatting. So if you want to come up, send me a request or put it in the comments, and I'll try to invite you in. What's going on now? Matt, I know what you mean, sweetie. The hard part is having to leave your job with no safety net and figure it out. That's the hard part. But, I have put myself in an optimum position to be able to do such a thing, where my figuring part is not so difficult. Yeah, this is all, it's all part of the game of the gods. So the ones of us that's not NPCs, we starting to wake from the slumber. The NPCs ain't no help for them. You want to come up, Brittany, and get specific with your questions about the divine feminine, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, and black magic, which is another interesting topic that I like to talk about. So I'm going to invite you in, sweetie. If you want to ask, you can come in and we can clarify whatever you're interested in. Where the hell you go? You disappeared on me. Oh, there you go. So, Emmanuel, Brittany, you come back to me about the divine feminine and black magic at this time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sweetie. Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm looking at a hot mess right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That mess never looked so hot to me.
uh, thank you. Um, but yeah, I was wondering because that's been prominent in my energy right now. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to learn more about black magic or why is that
So
so
let's
heavy in
talk
my
about black magic. What do you think black magic is?
um basically manifesting in darkness maybe.
No.
I don't know, I'm kind of
Okay.
shy on camera right now, but
You ain't gotta be shy. You cute enough to carry your weight. So look, black magic is the ability to work with something called dark matter.
okay.
It's, it, chaos magic is the ability to use everything in your surrounding to perform some form of magic.
Right.
See, they want to give the black magic the negative connotation because black girl magic, which is dream magic, is one of the most powerful and potent forms of tribal conjure. Black girl magic is you had the ability to meet me in the dream realm and show me stuff in the dream, like you walking
Mm,
me through a tour of a museum in order
okay.
to get the message that you need to the people that speak up and explain it for. Anything that they label as black is something that we need to investigate because they use the term black in order to blight the perception of a particular thing. Blackmail. That means somebody is using something to compel you to do something against your will, right? Like blackball. That means that you don't fit in, you're an outcast, you're not part of the mainstream groupings of secret societies, you are an outcast.
Right.
All of the black balls, those are the ones that couldn't get in to the fraternity, the sorority, the Masonic Lodge, the Shriners, Rosicrucians. Nobody don't want them. It ain't that they don't want them. It's that you're destined to walk what's known as a solitary path.
Mm,
The solitary path is called the fool's journey. When the fool become aware that he's playing the role of the fool, it's no longer the fool's journey now. It becomes something called the hero's
right.
journey, and it's a big circle that represents this.
Wow. That's crazy. I just went through like a whole experience that plays out where I was the fool. I'm an air sign too. I'm an Aquarius. Um, and yeah, and I know that I'm walking a hero's journey. I've been knowing that, but as life plays out and you kind of see everything, things start to unfold that you already knew. It's crazy.
Mhm. So
You
the
always
12
confirm stuff for me. That's crazy.
the 12 signs of the zodiac are 12 steps to sovereignty, as Empress Rarebird calls it. The 12-step program origins trace back to what we call today African root science
Hmm.
or the dark science or melanin science or black dot science or black mirror science. It all ties back to using the divine feminine Lilith energy.
Hmm.
The Lilith energy was when we was closer to Saturn. Lilith is a moon of Saturn, and the radiance of the Lilith moon, which is also called our black sun. But
Mm,
most people believe that they talking about Saturn, the Lord of the Rings. But it's not Saturn. It's a moon of Saturn. And the name of the moon is Lilith. The dark phases of the lunar moon, which is the new divine feminine, because the women had to relearn how to control their power when the moon that's up there now, Luna, replaced Lilith
mm,
after the Vimanis War, right?
I,
So
yeah.
so the dark magic ties to the dark feminine, and the representation is supposed to be the triple darkness of the uterus during gestation, right? It says, I was born in darkness, right? Shaped
Yeah.
in iniquity. What is iniquity? The imbalance, right? It's an
Mm-hmm.
anomaly in the darkness that's taking place as you being formed.
Yep.
The iniquity manifests as the personal problem or generational curse that you as an individual is obligated to break.
Yep. I feel that. I feel the turbulence, coming out of that
Mhm.
and stepping into something else. I feel that.
So the only two places where this triple darkness is in the uterus and deep space. The radiance of Lilith gives the same effect of the black light in the nightclub.
Mm.
Now imagine going outside at night and all of the flowers that's pretty in the daytime are now glowing like your face.
Mm-hmm. And I see that in meditation now. The glowing.
Yeah,
That's crazy
that's
how
your
much
inner
I can see.
light.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I've been super tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Isn't that what's her name? A lady says that. I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, I've been super tuned in. Um,
Is that floor burn?
no, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. She's like a channeler.
Miss
Is
Dean?
no, it's like Esther. She has like a different name. Esther Hicks. I can't think of her name.
It
I,
come to you.
yeah, it'll come to me. I'm shy right now. But I have one last question. Um, what is the best way to tap into the Lilith energy?
You got a chakra in each palm,
Okay.
right? The first
Mm-hmm.
exercise is to you have to do this.
Yeah.
Then you do like this, and then you'll feel the push pull between your palms.
Mm-hmm.
That's chi. This is how you strengthen your aura too. The exercise.
I practice
All
that.
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, once you can harness that energy, you clasp your hands like this, but you keep that ball of energy and you rest it right on top of your uterus,
Oh, okay.
just like this, on top of your uterus, right? Close your eyes and just say, "Oh, dark mother, help me." She'll
Okay.
start. You gotta relax and clear your mind and let her. She will begin to communicate with you, but it's gonna take you a little bit of time to develop the connection because the easiest way for you to do it. Do you have children?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so a mother's energy when she's cooking in the kitchen and she's focused on how much she love her family and that all of the family's nourishment is being met, she goes into a quasi trance state. We call it the soul food mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they call our cooking soul food, because now the alchemy and the love energy that's being fed into the food. Learn to tap that energy and tap to the dark mother through yoni magic.
Mm.
Talking about a Tesla coil.
Yeah.
That's when you activating your powers.
Okay.
Right.
So I could be already there.
Yeah. So you just establishing the link with the great
Yeah.
mother where
Mm-hmm.
you can translate what she's telling you into the common language you speak.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. See,
But that's the
sometimes,
tools.
yeah, sometimes when it starts to present itself more in my field, like in the 3D where I'm able to see, it sometimes make me feel like I'm maybe missing something, but then I'm already there. So it's kind of like it balances out.
Yeah. Those same chakras, you know how they say the holding the hands in church?
Mm-hmm.
It's what's supposed to be connecting these chakras. But
Yep.
the most powerful form of it is when you got three sisters
Mm-hmm.
on the same page, making an agreement to contact the great mother to activate your divine feminine powers on earth so that you can be a walking manifester.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all make that agreement, y'all start having a synchronization take place.
Yep. I'm already working on one, so we already in sync. I need another one though.
What city you in? You might have a sister that reach out to you in here.
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
From the D to the D.
Yep.
So in the circle, once you do that, let's say you got your brother bring a chick home and he wants you to tell him what she about. And
Mm-hmm.
you and the other two sisters, y'all put her in the middle. If she ain't no good, y'all gonna run her the fuck up out of there. But if she
Yeah.
about what's right, she's gonna sink and cause a four corner shuffle. And
Mm-hmm.
y'all will establish a sisterhood.
Yep.
And you gonna tell your brother this the one right here.
I
Because
feel that.
that's the way we used to build powerful sisterhoods before we start building fruity brotherhoods.
Mm-hmm.
The
Facts. I
fruity
feel that.
brotherhood is the social engineering um, remedy for that strong sisterhood. They trying to replace y'all with drag queens.
I feel that. And that sets me on fire anytime I come across that kind of energy in a male. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
like to
Well,
see
thank you.
when y'all turn on because y'all start to glow and radiate.
Yeah.
And then
I
when the
feel
other women come around y'all, they be wanting to stay in your presence because you on that frequency and the mitochondrial, they won't want to leave too quick until they're sure that they've connected and synced.
mm-hmm. I feel that too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
answering.
welcome, sweetie.
All right. I'm gonna get down and let somebody else
Okay.
up. All right. How do I get off of here? I've never been on this
I
before.
I can remove it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Who's next? There was only one person waiting to come up, so it wasn't hard to make the choice. If you asked to come up, Michael or Michelle, I can't see which one it was. I'm sending you the invite to come in. So the Gullah Wars don't mix with slavery. They were anti-slavery. The slave system is a social dynamic created to disassociate us from the land by giving us the impression we was from
Right.
Africa and we was already here. Peace, God.
Peace to you. How you feeling, man? Good to see you. Good to talk to you once again.
Yes, sir. Feels good, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
I
What's on
just
your mind today?
I just got off of YouTube. I was checking out your live from earlier that young elder put on, and I heard you
Mm-hmm.
mention that you was going live or whatnot. So just switched over and we here right now. Thank goodness. But like I said, like we was talking last time, I'm just sharing everything you putting up. Yeah, I mean, hashtag it free the three kings, free the three chiefs. Let them get on the land, let them walk, so we can, you know, uh, continue this process that's going on.
hmm
You know
So
what I mean?
the reason why we talk about the three chiefs, because we're talking about the law of the land. And we were usurped by the law of the sea using three ships,
Maritime law.
right? So to reverse what they did, we have to initiate what we supposed to do on the land to counteract the admiralty jurisdiction overriding the law of the land.
And that's what you went over on with the indigenous.
You froze up. You froze up for a sec.
I was saying that's has to do with the Indigenous Rights Act that you and Young Elder were talking about, right?
Right. So in the Indigenous Rights Act, they told us they gave us everything back, but they told
Right.
us that they will honor our oral tradition,
Right.
right? Which tells us that if we want everything back, we have to follow our oral tradition. In the oral tradition, if it's written anywhere, as long as I can show it to you and show you where it's written while I'm explaining to you what was being either done or undone, then I have met the burden of the oral tradition, because all of these videos on social media is time stamped and dated in an archivable legal format to serve as a public notice. And all public notices, notice the agent, notice the principal. Any one of the tribal chiefs that with the heritable blood is out here doing the speaking is doing a systematic oral tradition of reclaiming the birthright, which overrides the jurisdiction of admiralty and maritime and restores the law of the land. We call it the Great Law. And in part of restoring the Great Law is to go back to the tribal mothers, who was the wise women that gave us wise counsel in order to solve the problems of the social problems of the society.
Matriarchs. We
Right.
was just the ones, to go and let it be known and uphold it.
So
Right.
the matriarch in Africa has just put out the video recently that she's done her due diligence to reclaim Africa for the tribes of Africa, and that the nations of Europe is now in the process of being served exile notice. All nations are in on it. All tribes, actually. The nations was carved up in the Berlin Conference when they named it Africa. And the people never seen the landmass divided like that until the European colonizers colonized. So now, when she's tracing her lineage in the public, it's notice the agent is notice the principal. When she's telling them that they've been served with an eviction, it's to alert the tribes to be on standby, because we might have to move these people that don't want to go.
Yeah.
Right. So when the big mama speak, then all of the tribes start rallying in the background in case they have to support what big mama's final decision is, because in a lot of these cases, the people are unaware of what the tribal traditions are. So one of the things that I be doing in all of my lectures is giving pieces of tribal tradition, where you can put them together and go back to understanding how we worked tribally.
Like you be telling us to check out the Iroquois Confederacy, right?
hmm The reason
Yeah.
why is because that's when we had to write a written document, because the people that was coming over here didn't honor their word. So now we have to write documents with the instructions to tell you how to move on the land. But the most important article right now for the Iroquois Confederacy document is Article 77. Right.
Look into that. And I'll let you
Article
know.
77 was us serving them eviction by public notice. I did that on Young Elder Channel a little over a year ago.
Looking into that, sure, as well. I remember you mentioning something about Haiti. What's going on with them and them closing out on everything?
They got everything closed out. Right now, what's happening is they rejected Kenya to come over. And so the people who the UN was willing to fund that they was willing to accept turned out to be Jamaica. So now you have Jamaican trained police forces that know the culture of the islands. Their culture is slightly different from the land, from the mainland. In the islanders, if you go back to the origin of the revolution, Duddy Bookman came from Jamaica and aided Toussaint in the rise of with the sisters in the rise of the Haitian Revolution. And then they left Dessalines in charge after they was taken off the scene. And then in the recovery, Dessalines' descendant is a guy named Barbecue Chorizo, right? He is the one who is the blood descendant of Dessalines, who was a police officer, but he got that ancestor knot, left the police force, and began to try to organize the tribes, right? So once he did that, now we have to watch it play out in reverse to undo the conjure. So Divine Insight, Toussaint, had to be in the custody of the territory that was formerly known as the French territory of the Americas, which was the term Louisiana Purchase, that was the territory. Well, Divine Insight got locked up in Georgia, which was under that banner, right? So Duddy Bookman is in Florida, Orisha Stone, and he had to go and close out conjures on Jekyll Island, and it was recently reinforced by Phoenix Rising, who was one of the sisters from the, and she got her three sisters.
Yeah, wife be talking to her.
Yeah, so they already closed the Haitian conjure, and now when they brought in the Jamaican police force, it's the equivalent of the return of the spirit of the Duddy Bookman and the at the beginning of the revolution, as opposed to the end. Now, if when it starts to play out, they'll come up with all of the concealed information that would free Divine Insight, what they call exculpatory evidence, because they investigated and they did find that it was a setup, but they went on with the trial and proceeded to conceal critical evidence that would free that young man.
Right.
Because they concealed what they knew to be true, kafarum, and they became hypocritical in their applications in the law, munafiqun. Now they have to suffer, and he had to reap the reward on the flip. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, nephew?
My son always watching you. He like, that's Uncle Rod. I'm like, yeah. He behind the door listening to you.
He always welcome to come listen. You got to watch my Uncle Rod sometimes talk a little rough, so you got to excuse my language sometime, young man, okay? Because we be trying to talk to some real hard-headed people, and the only thing they can understand is colorful language. So I have to use colorful language sometimes, okay?
He knows it. He knows it.
Yeah,
that's my Aries. I'm a Libra.
All children that hear me talking with vitriol and venom, an explanation as to why I do it. Jareel Sadler, yes, I am talking about Rashad. divine insight, University of Cosmic Intelligence, because we can't just sit here and don't say nothing when we see somebody being done wrong. And I'm gonna say something even if he don't like me. I don't know if he like me or don't like me. I don't care. Right is right.
Right. It's not about that.
Wrong is wrong.
Right. It's not.
That's all I'm saying. Right. So he was making moves, and his disposition was scary because he was organizing his community. What made me really focus in was I had a whole bunch of psychic babies that claimed that they was under his tribe and told me to say something because he had some words for me that I didn't ask for, but I don't care about that. I can take it. I'm a grown man when it comes to the children.
Dirty.
And when me and him get to see each other, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna be no hard feelings on my behalf because I feel like that the position he was put in by infiltrators and interlopers, he performed exactly how his character say he's supposed to. So I won't hold that against him.
Right.
And it's like phase one, right? Phase one don't know me, and he had some choice words for me, but because I believe in how he stand up for his chief and his clan, I'm not gonna say nothing bad about that, brother. I accept that.
Yeah.
Long as I feel like he doing what he think is right, I won't never take it personal. But as soon as I feel like somebody is attacking me and they know they doing wrong, I'm coming out like a raging, ravenous pit bull on steroids.
They already know it.
Yeah.
One more thing, real quick. What's up with this? What's up with this strike? I'm over here in Philly, man, and you know.
They say it's over. I don't know if it's over, but I do know this. When you changing the guard, when you changing government, you have to close all of the ports.
I know.
It's part of the protocol.
I already
Safety
know
and security protocol.
Yeah, but I ain't know if it was that time yet. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, somebody said Isis Wisdom spoke dirty on the guy. I believe she was part of the setup.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier, man. Like, no comment, man. No comment for real.
Because she's going to get swooped up right with the Diddy clip.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just letting everything play out. Like, that, everything that's happening is supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. I've been
I'm just staying
telling people for the longest about Diddy is this. Whatever he do, if Clive Davis, Jimmy Iovine, Larry Cohen, and a few others escape, he failed. But if they go down, he did exactly what he was intended to do.
Complete. Yeah.
So I don't get into it. I don't want to see nobody fall from their positions of prominence, but you can't fuck over the community though.
No.
Right. You can't just treat people any old kind of way and don't expect nature to take its course, and you're gonna receive an energetic backlash.
Big mama.
But some of us is given the green light because the nature of the individual makes them suitable for the function in order to capture the dirty player.
No, I've been learning that.
Yeah.
This journey, all of this, it makes sense, but it's something crazy to realize, and it make you be like, yo, this really ain't for the faint of heart, for real. But y'all won't get it, and I understand completely. Kind of like this really ain't for everybody. Not this go round at least.
I tell you this, all of the ones who don't understand what's going on, reserve your judgment so you don't condemn yourself on somebody's bandwagon.
And that.
But just remember, sometime if you need to go into a pedophile priest cult, you need to find a pedophile priest with a good heart. Make that shit make sense. It don't make nothing to me. But you gotta find somebody that's already into what they into in order to drag their ass out in the open.
Yeah, I know what
And
you mean.
you see all these motherfuckers running for cover.
Yeah, I know
That's not
exactly.
no coincidence.
No, it's not.
Go back
I
to
know
that
what you
song
mean.
Puffy did with Ricky Ross.
Which one?
And you be like, where is you niggas culture? Right? He would tell me what you want to do. Do you want to walk with them riding over there? Or do you want to walk with God? You can't walk with God and push your dirt unless you in there undercover to drag out the dirt. Right? Like a lot of this stuff we've been hearing from Jaguar Wright for years. But we thought because the way she talked with that vitriol and venom and vile, like she's been emotionally scarred and somebody's victim, we don't want to hear what she's saying, and she could be telling us the truth.
That's the thing. He has, and now she, psycho to everybody. So a lot of people looking at her now, not knowing what to believe for real, for real.
Yeah.
But you gotta use
Well,
your
it's
discernment.
the same with Gene Deal.
Okay.
But look, when you go back, they asked Gene Deal, what you think is going on here? And Gene Deal's answer was, for me, man, it looked like the coming to the conclusion of a Tupac conjuring. Let that sink in. Gene Deal, when they asked him about this before the lawsuit was filed or any of that, this was a little over a year ago, when they finally brought him and Jaguar right on the same panel. And they asked him right before that, what's going on with this? Talking about him, Jaguar Wright, and when they arrested Keefe D and a couple more things, he was like, look, it looked like it's the conclusion of a Tupac conjuring. We don't know how cold Tupac was yet.
No.
We about to find out how cold Tupac really was. We don't know yet. Because the grand finale haven't taken place.
Yeah. He ain't up to that part yet. Not just yet.
The same with Nip. We don't know how cold Nip was. Man, look, I had only been exposed to Nip about 90 days before that BS went down.
Yeah.
But when I first heard him, he was giving me some Tupac knocks in the speech. And he was one of my guys I listened to Tanique Reviews on YouTube. He was going over some Tupac stuff at the time, and I'm getting the knocks from Nip, and then boom. There's more to the story. People accusing, pointing fingers at Big U. They don't know what they talking about. Right? You can't point the fingers if you ain't part of the insider crew. You can stand on the outside and you can say what the house looked like on the outside, but you can't tell me how the living room decorated from outside the house with the curtains closed. There's
no way you can.
You can't. You can't tell me how the bedroom is decorated and you ain't never been in that motherfucker from the outside of the house. All you can tell me is externally, this is what it appears to be to me.
But the picture outside,
yeah. And sometimes you might even be right in the living room. You just might be, but you ain't been in there, so you ain't 100% sure. So you either going off your instincts of intuition or you psychic.
Either, right?
Right? But the people inside the house, when they come out there and tell you, look, man, ain't no 10 speed in the living room. We got plush bear skin in the place of carpet. We got actual zebra stuff for furniture. They been in there. They know what's in there. You ain't been in there and you want to tell them they don't know what they talking about. This is what we up against. This is what we up against. People that suppose they know, but have no verification of the reality of what they're saying. So you got all of these artists was talking in tribal code using the English language, and they was using the rap music. The rap music is ancient over here. They used to
Yeah.
they made a parody in the 50s about us called Gopher Indians on Underdog, and they was laughing. They got the dude that's spitting the bars, the one feather chief, he's supposed to be rapping, but you needed the full feather chief to translate what he said. Nobody don't know what
Right.
he said. It just sounded like gibberish.
He was
But the
not.
full feather chief know exactly what he's talking about. This
Yeah.
is a parody about us in rap long before we had something called a hip hop culture.
Yep. Yep. That's why it comes so natural now.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything we see been here before. All this
Yeah.
shit that been recycled over and over again for time immemorial, because there is no memorial for the death of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
As,
It's just
as
explaining
we
this.
go by, so has gone.
Yeah. But us being in this lockdown, you know, it's nothing but this. Until it be unlocked, until we break out of this for real, for real.
Yeah, yeah. You got any more questions? Somebody else just asked to come up.
I appreciate what you do, man. Peace to you. I hit you up on Instagram off my business page because I'm unable to get on my main page, but I'll reach out to you on my business page.
Okay. I'm a little behind, so don't panic if
No,
I don't
I know.
immediately respond.
No, peace and
Okay.
strength to you. All
All
right.
right. Peace, God.
Peace.
Malakil. Iron Bush put the request in. I'm waiting on Michael L to come up, and after him I'll pull you up. Oh, he don't want to come up. Iron Bush, I'm gonna invite you in so you can ask me your questions. Send me a request, Zuri. I'll let you come up next. I'm letting um Iron Bush about to come up now. I think he asked me a question about pertaining to the collapse of the 3D. What's going on, Window Ford? So, uh, you want to come up, Zuri? Iron Bush, I just sent to you. Got to accept. Okay. When I get done with him, I'll invite you up. Yeah, West Florida was all the way to Mississippi. That was all the land of flowers in the native tongue. It became Florida in English because Florida mean the land of flowers or the flower land. Right. So we talk about East Florida, West Florida. We talk about Florida proper as in East Florida and Louisiana as in West Florida. But all of that was one governed land by the group that became known as the Iroquois Confederacy. And that's why they said that the Confederates ruled the South. They was talking about the tribal confederation of the Iroquois, which was made up of many varying different tribes. Right. Malik El, I'm gonna try to let you in again, and then I'm gonna let Zuri up if you can't get in this time. Okay, I just sent you the invite. There you go.
Okay.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I think your camera off.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me, fam?
I can hear you.
All right. Damn, it's good to hear your voice and to respond to you, at least, man. I appreciate you, family. Can you see my face or you hear my voice?
No, we can't see you. I think your camera off.
All right. I'm gonna try to do it. I'm horrible with it. This phones. I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
But
On
anyway,
top right.
long story short, I got it. Okay. Yeah, I got an echo on my end.
Okay, just go on and ask the question, and I'll take it from there.
Okay, I got a whole bunch of questions, but anyway, first of all, gratitude for all the work that you do. I really appreciate what you do.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Okay, that's what's up. Uh, in terms of how does Donald Trump uh, connect with all of this right now in terms of the connection with Big Mama and the whole Larry Hoover movement, pre Larry Hoover movement? I mean, I'm trying to everything. I'm getting a little echo right now. I'm trying to put my thoughts together, but hopefully you got the question. How does that tie in? I'm also thinking about the relationship between.
Okay, let me repeat your question, and then I'm going into the answer. You said, what does Donald Trump have to do with what's going on with the Free Larry Hoover campaign, and what else? Can you hear me?
Well, everything that's tied in. I mean, I'm looking at how everything is connected, and I'm trying to see how everything just connects. It's just like everything is just like.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you how everything is in a spot performing a function. Donald J. Trump, what'd you say? Okay, they say I'm fading in and out. I'm gonna let you drop down, and I'm gonna start on this question of how it all tied together. I'm gonna try to give y'all an outline of where everything sit in this shit show that they running in front of us. All
All right,
right,
look.
go ahead. Go say what you was gonna say.
I appreciate you, Pam. I'm getting an echo, so I'm gonna let you
Okay,
do what you do. But gratitude, King.
all right,
PML.
all right. All right, peace to you. Okay, so a quick summary of how this is working out. So you have a political arena. That's a whole separate stage. That's a stage by itself, the political arena. In the political arena, they're running the show called the Democrat Republic. Um, it's Plato's Republic, and they're going up against the democracy, the mob, the rule of the mob. But when you say the rule of the mob, they tend to think that it's an uncontrolled mob. So the Democrat Party is blue, the Republican Party red, the Democrat is a mule, the Republican Party is an elephant. Okay, now these symbols are gonna pop up in other places if you're paying attention. But you got your political view is how you see the shit show play out. Okay, now you have a whole nother scene, right? Called entertainment, which include actors, singers, dancers, talk show hosts, and believe it or not, nightly newscasters. Now, this is a whole nother show. The entertainment realm is the realm of the distraction from the political realm, which is the distraction from your day-to-day life to instill something called a false hope. The political arena is to give you false hope. The entertainment industry is to make life tolerable while you living with a false hope, right? The business world is another stage. In the business world, their job is to orchestrate the supplies of the machine by getting you to participate as the workforce, which is the bottom of the business arena, the workforce. So while that's playing out, you have the religious world, right? And in the religious world, they give you the promise of the hereafter, but they never tell you hereafter what, right? That we supposed to all go to paradise. So now they got this other narrative. Now all of these narratives are mirroring each other, but it's like being in the carnival, you see it in a funny mirror. So the Kamala Harris is playing out the religious revelation horror Babylon. While that's being done, you have Puffy playing out the fall of the Pied Piper, so to speak. They call him the diddler, which means the fiddler, and the fiddler was on the rooftop. And the fiddler on the rooftop is trying to get the village's attention, but everybody think he crazy, or they think he too good for them, or that he think he too good for them. So they won't pay the fiddler on the roof no attention. So the fiddler on the roof only can get the attention of the ones who still have a childlike way of thinking, because now they, ooh, look, the fiddler's on the roof. Ooh. Right. So now while that's playing out, you got the fallout of people just trying to escape being exposed for the dirt that they did by one of these key figures collapsing from a position of prominence or power. These are all mirrored events taking place to give you a torn way of seeing the world, where you can never be balanced in determining what you're looking at, because you keep looking at everything through a carnival funny mirror. And then you know it's a mirror, but you don't understand the exaggerated part. What exaggeration does this mirror have that's different from the exaggeration of this mirror over here? So they're gonna look different on the surface, but they all telling the same story, and the story is gonna always tie back in the closing of that old system when everything finally comes to what's called the convergence point, right? It's all connected now. Everything converge. This is when the wave of everybody becomes a single-minded focus and collapses the particle on one atom. This alignment of the minds called the 100 monkey effect. And this 100 monkey effect has to trigger the collective to have a sudden awareness, right? And from there, you reach something called critical mass. Once you reach critical mass of those who perceive the resolution and the point where all things connect, that final point on all of these mirrors in the middle, it shatters the paradigm, and now the paradigm can shift. That means the old is done, the new is here. But until the people release the old, they dragging around a dead body. So all of this stuff is telling us Sleepy Joe, he don't know if he's alive or dead, right? The diddler in the on lockdown in the custody of the federal government, but we don't know if he alive or dead, right? Then you have the business world, the docks is closing, right? And that's because the baby's in the containers and we don't know if they alive or dead, right? Which tells you about the trafficking of the diddler, which is a microcosm, Harlem, of a macrocosm, the entertainment collective industry, from one coast, New York, to the other coast, LA, right? NYLA, Nyla. And Nyla is Black Girl Magic because Nyla is with Anaya, and Anaya brings the fire to burn this bitch down if her daddy don't get his shit. But when we get to the focal point is when we start seeing the fraud in all of the storylines. So now what are they doing to get us to see the fallacies in the storyline? First of all, anybody that don't know that they documented the fixing of the 2020 vote by following every person that they thought had the potential of hacking in to alter the result of the vote. They have the records, the video, the collusion plot on video, the dirty players who don't know they on video talking about the dirty game they was playing. And when you seeing all of these playing out, one storyline reflects another storyline with a slight alteration. And then that one is going to reflect another storyline, but it's going to have a slight alteration. Because when the mirror rule is same but different, that means it looked like the same thing, but it's slightly different. And the reason you need to know that is because you are in cycles and cycles, and you have to see coming out of a cycle all the things you've seen coming in upside down and backwards, which means it's altered, but it's still there. That means you've come full circle. It's time to exit, flip out of that cycle by not repeating the ending of the pattern that was adverse to your process and your progress. Now that you can see the loop that's repeating itself in one area, it becomes self-evident and you begin to see it in every aspect of life. Now it unfolds to you the deeper truths to the self, which exposes to you the deeper truths of the universe. So we have storylines taking place as people play out their book of life. The story that everybody wrote for themselves had to have overlapping pages with the other people that they destined to encounter. Because now, when you go through your book of life, you can begin to read it and you can actually rewrite it in 3D in your consciousness. And this is where you go to epigenetics and they talk about programming the subconscious. Before, under the old system, We couldn't figure it out because we were being programmed the same way epigenetics teaches you how to self-program, but we were being programmed by a political, socio-economic, entertainment agreement that we didn't even know we was in, for somebody else to train us on how to perceive the world. And if they successful, we become the cog in the wheel, and we not gonna even squeak about it if it gives us what's called a meager living. I mean, if you can meet your bare necessities, you're gonna live that lifestyle. And if you live that lifestyle, that means that as you don't want to change it because you learned how to adapt to this one in order to make you comfortable where you at, so you won't be willing to change. Because Elijah Muhammad told us that in order to have change, dissatisfaction must be met in proportionate to the percentage of change that you're trying to reach. If you only got 1% dissatisfaction, you will never change shit in your life. If you 99% dissatisfied, then you have a 99% chance of changing the paradigm by taking control of your own personal power. Right? So this is how everything is connected. All people that's existing right now is the focal consciousness in the unified field theory that's collapsing the wave into the particles that's becoming the building blocks of this construct that we call atomic development. The atoms are all made of light at their source. And the light came forth and proceeds from triple darkness. And you have to have that chaos of disorder in order for you to bring order in. And that's what the lodges, they got the term, it's called fiat lux, right? Which fiat is a decree, lux mean light. So you order, decree, light. And you can decree the light by understanding how to talk with the light code. Once you learn how to talk with the light code, you can activate the other beings to have their light codes activated to support you in activating the light codes in others, because now we reaching back to each other in agreement to continue to collapse the wave into the particle of the current three-dimensional reality. Nothing is new under the sun, right? And nothing is new above it either. And nothing is new inside of it. Therefore, the sun can only do what it do best, shine like a motherfucker. And as long as the sun is shining, Luna will reciprocate at night by reflecting that shiny light in 28-day cycles. And between the 28-day cycles, we have the Lilith moon cycle, or the old crone called the dark mother cycle, which gives us the most potent forms of magic that the woman can harness, called Big Mama magic. Big Mama magic only can be done by a matriarch that has a huge family that she loved with so much force that that love energy creates a bubble around her of divine mother instinct that make other mothers come to her to learn how to reach their next level of motherhood. The title of mother is the highest honor a woman can have, and the title of father is the greatest job that a man can ever ask for, right? And they are not supposed to be at odds in performing that job, because both of them are required in order for the best job to be performed to its maximum capacity to benefit the child that they raising, right? And sometimes it requires surrogate parents. The surrogate parent is the parents who come in to assist the new spouse or whatever as if they was the original without taking no difference between any of the other seeds, right? You're supposed to treat all children like they belong to you and that you love them. And this is how you conquer the doctrines of the hate, right? So now we know how it all connected. We just have to learn how to translate and read how it'll all play out. All right, so Zuri, you ready to come up, sweetie? You want to come up and ask me something? Put me a yay or nay in the comments so I can know what to do next. Zuri, 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 Zuri. No, Trump still, he's been the president since he got elected as president. The Biden administration is a fallacy. It's a show. Um, it's a show to keep the military operations secret while it won't make people panic about the global scale of conflict that we work in. It's so the whole Biden administration is a whole theatrical performance scripted straight out of Hollywood. I don't know what this is, Jerry, but it does not give me the option to invite you in like it normally do. Let me try something different. Yeah, I try to save all of my lives, Chris Faith. I'm they supposed to stay in the public domain until we have results. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try something. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find a way to invite you. Normally, I touch the picture, and give me the option. George didn't give me the option, and it's not coming up. Oh, they're saying that you ain't a viewer right now. Chris Pharaoh, I got you. I know what that is now. Iron Bush, you trying to come back up? I can't find out how to let Zuri in and say she not on the. She said it's saying that Zuri's not watching the live, and I can't invite her. Well, look, Bobby B. Blunt, we don't know when everything gonna crash until it crashes. That's why it's called a crash, because it's a sudden event, right? I wish I did know, because then I know how much stuff I need to do clearer than figuring it out as I go, which slows me down. Yeah, the hard disclosure come one of these things. They reopened Hillary Clinton laptop case, which can trigger the exposure of the deep state tribunals. Also, the Diddler case can implicate Kamala and some other politicians that could cause the collapse on uh, uh, that could cause the collapse of the person was unable to join because of technical issues. Now that's some bullshit. I don't know what that's about, sir. Try it again. This person able to join. It's saying that you got some technical issues that won't allow you to join. Yeah, Cliff, this is the great reveal. Okay, so now you got the this other case. What's the name of that case? So Clarence Thomas is waiting to give a ruling about the disposition of the political elites in Washington that's holding office with no oath of office on record. And this could bring an end to or an exposure point for the fall of the cabal. Okay. Um, damn, what's the name of that case? It'll come to me. Another thing that's going on that could cause the exposure is this bill that they put in front of Senate and Congress last week that say in the case of the loss of 100 and more senators and congressmen that they have a continuity of government protocol in place, and they was rushed to vote on it as if it was urgently important in a message. The Brunson case, yes, that's the name of it. It's the Brunson case. So that can also trigger the revelation of the fall of the cabal, the draining of the swamp, the death of the deep state, the slaying of Babylon, whatever you want to call it. That's a powerful trigger point. Also, Bank of America, representing America's bank, is um, can also be a trigger point for exposure, right? Because we know about June they was already missing $545 billion. So as that relate to now, how much are they still missing? Did it increase? Did they recover any? And this is going to make it where the public, John Q. public, going to be like, I don't want to do business with them because they done lost $545+ billion. And when we all get on the same page, and the more of us that agree to overthrow the tyranny of this dying system, everybody on the same day abandon the contract by not going to work, no cash, no checks, don't do nothing, don't make no money move. And it'll tell you that can be a trigger point for the shock and awe disclosure. I call it shock and awe after what G. Dummingham was calling their campaign in Iraq. So I wish that when I sent him the request to tell him to rotate his phone, and then it still won't let him in. So I was wondering what happened with that. Yeah. So the only way that clock could be at zero is when it's done with the corporation, because the corporation is insolvent, and the corporation has been dismantled, and assets of the corporation that we call the United States of America, that we thought was our actual and factual government, turned out to be a de facto fraud in its truest form. Fraud vitiates all contracts. The discovery of the fraud gives the chief the right to cancel the contract. And the fraud came, in this case, in non-performance and breach of contract by doing exactly what you agreed not to do, and that's abuse my people. So the money that they give it to the foreign countries is not because they have money to give the foreign countries over the people of the land. Remember, BRICS is forcing the US dollar back by building a dam of nations that's going to gold back currency to overthrow the fiat. When this is taking place, you have to understand how the economy was being floated. Inflation is the product of printing more money than you can spend. You printing it so fast you can't even spend it, but it's creating the inflation. This inflation in turn decreases the purchasing power of the day-to-day worker, and they never know that they silently and secretly being robbed in their face behind their back. Okay, so the next thing that let me see, that was about okay. So the natural disasters are called acts of God, meaning that all insurance companies can renege on paying out because acts of God is not covered under 90% of insurance policies unless you have what's called an act of God policy, that in the case that God tear your house down with a tornado, hurricane, earthquake, or tidal wave, or tsunami, or whatever, then because you bought specifically that insurance, that's the only way you can be compensated. They need to circulate fiat currency around the world in order to artificially float their system. They can't circulate it within the country and be able to float their system because they don't want the money damn back to home, because now you got water running in the White House coming over the doorstep, right? The breaches of the contract, once you discover the fraud, I mentioned this on the Larry Hoover video earlier. Once you discover the fraud, you cannot correct the fraud with paperwork because you perpetuate the fraud when you do that. The only remedy in law for the discovery of a fraud that you was unaware of before whatever said catalytic or catalyst event made you pay attention enough to see the fraud. And the only remedy is to walk away from the fraud. If you don't walk away from the fraud and you see the fraud, you are guilty in legal terms as an aid and abettor to the fraud, because you seen it and you participated in it and you knew it was a fraud and gave it your support. And once you gave it your support, you validated your support for the fraud, right? Once you validate your support for the fraud, you are now what's known as a willing participant. But when you didn't know, you was called an unwilling dupe. The fool's journey. The only remedy is to walk away from what the fraud is, which is Faison Love, what up, though? So once you recognize, okay, these W-2s and W-4s they got me filing at work is deceptively luring me into supporting a foreign agency to financially exploit us, and I don't want to participate in that. So they got to give me two options. I don't want to do W-2. I don't want to do W-4. Let's see if they let you file a 1099 OID exempt status. So now you are doing something according to what you know on how to remedy the problem instead of just going along to get along. Yep, just walk away. Go with your tribal name in the public. Always use your tribal name because your birth name is the property of the dead system, which makes by birth, you are now a zombie. You're the walking dead. You are a vessel in distress, lost at sea, deceased status, black in law. When they recovering you from the waters of maritime and admiralty, they are listing you on the records as being a recovered vessel at sea, stranded, lost, and deceased. And now they have to hand you over to the so-called ruling authority. And now, even though you are the walking dead, you are the ward of the state. That's given all of your life responsibilities for the state to financially support you. But watch how they renege on the bill. When you file to become a living being, they punish you by declaring that it's fraudulent that you did business as the straw man. But the living person is not responsible for the obligations of the non-living entity called the straw man. Nisara and Jasara is Dr. Kia Pruitt's domain. Anybody interested in understanding what Nisara and Jasara is and how it works, go to Rumble or YouTube, type in Dr. Kia Pruitt, and she have a whole lot of videos on both that's explaining the entirety of the Nisara and Jasara breakdown. Right, Dolo Ray? You have to put a claim in letting you know that you're living and take over your corporate enemy. No, that's how you support the fraud. But when you put the claim in with them, you submitting to their jurisdictional oversight of the prima facie case. You don't have the jurisdictional oversight, they do when you file a claim. The only way for you to have the sui juris status is by I mean not the sui juris, I meant the de jure status. And instead of filing the claim, you make your statements according to tribal tradition in the public domain for other people that's similarly situated have the opportunity to discover the fraud you presenting and investigate it. And once they discover the fraud, you now have led them out of bondage. Yeah, so she lost a few channels, but she still got some videos up. I am Bush. I don't have wasn't too far because I didn't see it. I'm going back looking at every time no, that's a statement. That's not a question. Um, retype the question because I don't know where it's at. And I'll try to answer it. Dr. Kia Pruitt, Kia, last name Pruitt, Pruitt. Yes, you can have more than one totem animal, but one of them is going to be the primary or the lead, and you will be able to switch them lead according to the task that you're trying to perform that you need their assistance with. No, don't do the paperwork, Faison. That's a trap. The paperwork is the paper chain. Because when the paperwork is copywritten, yep, that's Dr. Kia Pruitt. She's the one with the necessary information, the SESQE trusts, and all of that stuff. We got people in the community that's responsible for the part that they work on. I'm not. I don't work on the Nasera Jacera. I work on cracking the codes and putting in the public domain the redemption process that we following to recover the tribal lands, and it's all tribal land, back from the colonizers in lieu of the discovery of Plymouth Rock, commemorating the shipwreck called the Wreck of the Plymouth, which we know in the history books as the Mayflower. And we know that the military was ordered, under Donald J. Trump, the Navy ordered the docked vessel of the Admiralty jurisdiction commissioned by London to immediately exit the harbor of DC because in 2017, the tribes marched the totem pole to claim back what's known as the crime scene that was in an enclave, 10 square miles, that was the original crash site of the Plymouth. The lawsuit was filed in the through secret societies, and they went in to create the International Court of Criminal Justice in order to have a body in place to enforce the rights of all of the ones that's asserting a tribal jurisdictional right to recover from the contracts that they was never party to, and that most of the people in the contracts had nothing to do with the people of the land. And that's why none of the tribal leaders' names can be found in any of the treaties, which makes the treaties be predicated upon the fraud of an assumed identity of the organic people of the land or the identity being bestowed upon them by presidential order or presidential decree, which is not how the tribes of the land do business, right? Yo, totem animal, Dolo, RJ, it whatever you doing, the totem animal that needs to give you the guidance takes the lead, and it can go within a split second. You can go from the lone wolf totem trotting across the vacant field to the full-blown war bear, the grizzly war bear that left a grisly scene of guerrilla warfare on the land, and the land had a stain that scorched from the souls of those who suffered under the oppression and tyranny of the wicked who assumed the identity and tried to insert themselves in with the righteous, meaning the ones with the organic right to reclaim the earth, the ones with the right to assert tribal jurisdiction to restore the rest of the tribes to their tribal positions on the land. And this can be done globally by any the tribal networks that's set up by landmass. It just so happened that North and South Turtle Island and the islands are all under one grand matriarch, but we have under her a series of matriarchs across the land who works with the chief in order to solve the problems of the tribes in processing a new era. As the day becomes online, so to speak, then they awakening becomes the catalyst for the change to take place. So they all working together, even when they don't know they working together for the greatest good, because that's how they wired. In this one, I'll lose it while I'm trying to answer it. Okay, so this is what Iron Bush is asking me, y'all. He said, I received information that the 3D will be closing out from 2039 to 2046, at which point the pole shift will occur. The pole shift will occur. Try this one. Essentially moving the 3D from this realm. Do you think the Anunnaki will have any part in this, or do you think at this point their DNA is so integrated with ours that we are them and they are us? Did they mix with us so they could survive, not for anything or benefit? Okay, so that's kind of a big question. It starts off about the ending of the 3D reality. The 3D reality will be here. It will be here, but we won't be operating from a three-dimensional paradigm. The five-dimensional paradigm is the paradigm of love and spirit. The 3D paradigm is the paradigm of density and aversion or repulsion is what it is. It's density and repulsion, and they can't not clash coming together. So in the 3D, it's just the construct that we living in. But the 5D is a non-physical location, right? As a non-physical location, when we ascend, we move from third dimension, physical matrix, energetically to dimension, spirit matrix. And we operate from the spirit matrix aspect in the 3D aspect. So the 3D physical reality is not going to just vaporize and we all 5D beings. It's not going to happen. But what's going to happen is in this 3D construct, we're going to absorb a frequency that's going to come from the earth after the sun and the earth get done answering all of the defects that the women's mitochondrial reported back to earth from scanning Y chromosomes and X chromosome in the same position of the children, right? And once they understand that the children are being birthed on higher frequency, now they're going to try to interfere with the frequency by undermining the child that's being born gifted. Anyway, so the 3D is not going to physically go anywhere, but we're going to change to a spirit-based reality we living in, as opposed to a dog eat dog, grab at what you can mentality. And then he said, at which point the pole shift will occur. The pole shift occurred, but it didn't occur in the manner that it normally happens because Nibiru altered the trajectory and altered the whole system's um, effect on flipping the crust of the earth. Um, Go to Google, type January 6 Earth core anomaly, and it's going to tell you that the core of the Earth stopped spinning inside the Earth. And this lasted, I think, a day or so, maybe 2 days. And then it reversed direction, right? So this was what would have been a catastrophe of a pole shift had the mantle and the crust um, flipped as opposed to just the core. When it was just the core, it changed the pitch, tone, and frequency of Schumann resonance, which is the pulses that the earth sent out to the women's mitochondria to alert them, disaster coming, girl, get your family and go. And they can hear it like I'm talking now, like they can hear me. Once they tuned in on that level, then they begin to sync with similarly situated mitochondrial developed women in order to be the Tesla coils of this creation, right? So the pole shift was the shifting of the core this time instead of the mantle. The Anunnaki is not allowed to interfere right now because the war that was being waged on Earth that started on Nibiru over the war in heaven and landed on Earth, right? The fallen angels. Um, that has to play out as if there is no super beings or exceptionally gifted beings. It has to play out as we educate ourselves, the gods in the system, above the program that created the system. Once we mentally surpass the program that maintains the system, now we are in the position to alter the program to the benefit of the most people, right? Um, and do you think at this point their DNA is so integrated? Okay, so they have integrated DNA with the humans. But not all. It's more than one bloodline lineage of royal families on Nibiru or Orianos, what they call it in the New Testament, which is heaven. This differing bloodlines all came to Earth, sent delegates, I should say, to Earth to assist with giving a drop of divine blood to the newest addition to the human family that was denied rights of ascension, scientists. And the war that was originally two brothers, Enki and Enlil, or Set and Ra, Osiris, Set and Osiris, and it ended up being a war instead of the two brothers fighting between Heru, right, the fallen father's son, and the uncle, Set, who tried to usurp or take or claim the kingdom as he had won it in warfare, which makes his rulership legitimate in the Anunnaki text. But because the earthborn Heru, heir to the throne, it is the one that Enlil has to stop from becoming a mature enough adult to assert the tribal rights of the tribes to govern, control, and repair and replenish the lands of Turtle Island, which is our natural birthright, right? So we already have some sizable portion of their DNA, but we also have our own badass um, earthborn DNA off the motherline through the power of love, wakening and resonating through the mitochondria in the cells of all as the powerhouse of all living cells is mitochondria on earth because mitochondria is a woman's right to create and recreate and procreate according to their creative capacity and their ability to link with the dark mother. And anybody that have the mitochondria can communicate directly with the dark mother. And once you experience that level of love and power, you won't never want nothing else less than that. Let me get caught up now. Okay, so I hope I answered you, Iron Bush. She rapping this mofo. Witting the Devil. Witting the Devil is an excellent book. That's one of my favorite books of all time because you have to raise your thinking above the thinking of the devil, or else you're going to always be his victim chasing. Cheryl Jones said, they are doing that with this abortion, trafficking rituals, etc. is influencing this. You are right, sweetie. The control of the um, positive golden heart ones being distracted with the gossip of the dirt of others will slow down the ascension rate of everybody. All of that stuff is connected. The abortion is a Babylonian blood magic ritual to snatch a woman's child out before before the child and the mother can bond. That's an old torture technique. Now it's common practice, and women freely go get tortured because that baby gonna stay in your arc field until you have a baby to let him out in, and he gonna keep like, Mama, when you gonna let me out this energy? I need to get the physical. I'm like Pimp C. I need to be seen. Come on, bro. You got to hurry this thing up. I don't know what the other characters up to, man. I'm tell you, but they kind of weird, man. They be on some old weird old booty clapping type stuff. And you know, like I told y'all, me and Bud, we ain't never get down on none of them old freaky things. I already know about that Diddy party and all that, man. But that ain't how real players supposed to carry it, how they supposed to get down. I don't care what they say. uh Princess Jade, yeah, a lot of us are in higher realms from the shift, but the people standing next to you can't even tell. That's the hard part. The people standing next to you, you vibrating on 5D frequency, pure love energy, and they know there's something that's different, but they have no clue that you vibrating at such a level higher than they can ever aspire to attain because they're not you. Mm. Just what they are doing. Okay. Skype at the North Gate. King Kong is coming. So, Iron Bush say, so are we gonna have to keep up with this brotherly battle? Prince Ea, Enki, and Enlil Yahweh, and did Nibiru intervene due to karma or benevolence? Nibiru is not who intervened. It was the Galactic Council after Tahuti blew the Gandiva to try to annihilate everything on the planet that didn't belong here, right? The asteroid belt is called the Iron Bracelet, but that is the rest of Tiamat. When Earth was known as Tiamat, it was about almost to the size of Jupiter or Saturn. It was big like those gas giants, but it was an Earth giant or a Kai giant, right? Which takes us back to divine insight. So free Rashad Jamal, we know that shit made up by the shit that they refuse to tell the defense about their awareness of the setup by electronic media of either text messages or emails or probably both. Right. So there is no correcting your status. That's a fallacy uh, based on your attempts to status correct the way they tell you to do it by serving notices and filing affidavits and forms. You are doing all that under the jurisdiction of an entity that doesn't have the jurisdiction to lick your feet. It's all what real face. Everything I say be 100. Yeah, Cliff, you're exactly right. That love that Big Mama have, you can't get it from nowhere else. Only mothers know how to love people to that degree. It's been cures for herpes since the 50s. They was curing it in Japan with red algae treatments way back then. So I mean, shit, it's a cure for it. It's not incurable like they tell you, right? But they don't want to tell you that it's curable because they get paid far more for it being treatable than curable. They don't get paid off curing diseases. They get paid off um, administering the medication to the patient in order for the patient to be dependent on pharmaceutical industry to have a comfortable life in the misery of illness instead of take the illness away. In higher dimensions, your skin color don't matter. Only certain beings gonna reach higher dimensions, and it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It got everything to do with your heart chakra frequency resonance in conjunction with your crown chakra thousand petal lotus. Fractal holographic universe will help with understanding self while decoding this matrix. Facts. Michael Tobit wrote the holographic universe. A must read for anybody that want to understand this matrix we in. So it's two major pieces of medical equipment that's about to be put on display and distributed at the World's Fair next year in 2025. And one is the med bed, and the other one, I don't know if they're going to call it the healing chamber, healing pod, or they're not going to call it the sarcophagus this time. There's going to be something about this because it's a closed building, but it can regenerate lost limbs. It can reconnect severed spines. It can go down to your DNA level, read your DNA. Once it reads your DNA, it can set you to whenever you was physically at your peak, mentally at your peak, spiritually at your peak. It ties all of the best versions of you into one new you right now because you already paid for the stuff that you were in the past. That's paid in full. That means that the code that it left as an imprint on as a genetic marker is readable by the healing chamber in order to optimize you and extend your life at least to 1,000 years. And this is going to be rolled out with the med bed. The med bed, it can cure cancer and a lot of other stuff like that. Asthma, autism. Autism not really a defect. It's really a neurological upgrade, right? Right. So, ooh, the vibration of the body, right? You normally get that either when you relaxed or when you're about to go to sleep. And the reason that is because when you start separating the light body from the physical, the vibration that you feeling is the energy output of the powerhouse of the cell called mitochondria. As it puts out higher frequencies of energy, it's raising the vibration of your light body in order to match the dimensional frequency that you're supposed to wake up in. Because 3D, then you got 4D, which is mind mental matrix, and you can build a whole astral plane um, reality at the fourth dimension where people can come visit you and everything like you was in the 3D world, except it's in the world, it's in the part of the thinking world where thoughts are generated. It can change your DNA. It can upgrade um the healing pod can upgrade your DNA, downgrade your DNA. It can take away birth defects that's in your DNA. You can't produce birth defects, right? All that stuff is the potential of that machine. Cheryl, I don't know how I be doing this stuff because some of the stuff that I be running across, I doubt myself and look it up and be right. I be like, how the fuck I even know that? Yeah, chief who created school, university, trade school system. So, first of all, the modern educational concept, um, from the Western perspective, comes forth on the island of Crete, right? That's where the first university of Europe was established by Queen Helen or Hela, who is the keeper of Valhalla, the paradise of warriors. And her jurisdictional domain, um, she had the obligation to raise the in consciousness. So they created educational systems, um, and they called them universities back then. Like that, you didn't have university wasn't higher education; it was just education. And now it's higher education because The lower education is your training program on how to be a successful slave. Cliff Simmons, you're absolutely correct. Though children are always, even if you go back to your childhood, you instinctively was drawn to the person that the love they felt for you was unmistakable. Thank you, Raven. Glad I was able to help you. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me get back to that. So the children, like if you go back when you used to always want to be around the people that you thought loved you. It's a joyous feeling to be in the presence of genuine people that love you for free. And it makes you want to be around them. So you had your favorite uncle. You always want to go over your favorite uncle's house. And your mom be like, your uncle don't want to be bothered with your little bad ass. And I want to go over my old house. Your uncle don't want to be bothered with your little bad. He got his own life to live. He old bachelor. I'm going over uncle house. I don't know what am I talking about? Hey, uncle, what's up? Hey, nephew, super duper, what you know? What it do? Right? So children can sense when somebody's love is genuine, and they can sense when they in the presence of somebody who understands the concept and expression of being in a state called unconditional love. That's an energy state. It's not something you do, right? Right? It's something you become. Unconditional love. Then you become that by practicing loving people for free. I love you because I love you, and I don't need no excuse. And that generates the unconditional love frequency on the inside of your aura. And you walking around encapsulated in pure, unadulterated, I love myself, so I love the world energy. If I didn't love me so much, I would have been destroyed the planet. But since I love me so much, I'm going to pull out this big ass band-aid, this large ass needle, and this long ass rope thread, and I'm going to sew up the wounds of Earth like I was her primary care physician, and, and tie it all together with the other people working to patch this big old hole in the heart of Mother Earth. I'm bring my toolkit, right? And I'm only obligated to do the part that the universe prepared me to do. And it just so happened that some of the people listening, because I'm doing the part the universe raised me and taught me how to do, using the agency of varying people around me, right? I can come now and be the living example of overcoming the struggle in the age-old fight of good versus evil, or light versus dark, or the chess game, and galactic chess at that. Yeah. No, lust is just your natural, instinctual drive to procreate through intercourse. That's lust. The woman that can drive you into a lustful frenzy for her while y'all just having a simple conversation and hit your ass in your heart chakra, right? She's going to alter you forever. You will never go back to wanting for settling for anything less than that pure love energy. Cheryl Jones, we not supposed to be sending no children to school, but parents too lazy to homeschool, and the children suffer. So now they sending them to shooting galleries under false pretense of getting them education, when the reality is that the parent was just too busy or lazy or a combination of the two to homeschool their children. Our people do not want to go back to the cultural dynamic of the village raising the child. We want to be the dictator in our child's life, even when they're an adult. Thank you, Sherry D. Look, we talk about healing the earth's wounds, right? It's so much these people didn't dig underground to earth. At any woman that can feel earth, know earth feel like she's not only been raped, but she's been strip raped by an army of hooligans. As far as the eye can see, the stuff that they was doing to them babies down there, and the terror it gave to Mother Earth by being encapsulated in the BS being encapsulated on the inside of the earth. Mother Earth don't like that. Mother Earth feel like every mother feel about their child and their neighbor child. Her mama ain't here right now, but that's my child until her mama get here. Village raised the child. Now, don't nobody want to say nothing. The girl trying to tell you that she don't know this man, and you tell her, go on, get in that car. He said he's your uncle. She just told you she don't know that motherfucker. Don't make her get in that car. Oh man, you making me blush, Cliff. I, I'm I'm with the shits. I want the smoke. I'm not backing down. But one thing about it, when people show love, that makes me blush because I'm not used to it. I'm used to. I'm the most hated. I'm the most loved and respected of the most downtrodden and be hated. So out of all the hate they gave me, I was able to love myself enough through it in order to get here and give y'all the messages of my life experience and what I discovered in the aftermath of our physical war, of how we was fighting the enemy that blended in with us so well that the non-melanated ones couldn't tell us apart, and we was all assumed to be the same. We not the same. They not like us. Everybody that came to Earth came under the pretense of learning how to balance their internal self with the outternal world. And, and nobody came in that didn't intend to be here. Everybody who's here that intended to be here agreed to write their book of life before they come into the world, so they'll have a Akashic record of why they came. Once they get here, so many of them forget the purpose by which they came that they become easily led astray by people that they didn't come here to associate with. Normally, Dolo Ray J, normally when the person decide that they coming back through somebody, that's the person that they love the most, and they want that person to be their parent in their next life. And so they picked who they gonna be born back through as the favorite of the individual, the nephew that the auntie loved the most. She gonna come back through him. She want him to pick a certain type of female, so the energy frequencies will facilitate her getting back through that seed. They not soulless, and they are a different species of being, right? And they did agree to come here, and they came with a nature that reveals who they are in the cloak of the human vessel. The character betrays the lineage of the individual that's proceeding forth. The lineage that's known as the serpent clan or the Amaru clan can take the energy of the serpent and strike on your ass without provocation or warning if they get in that energy. That means you did something. I hope, Sherry, that you write that people can assimilate the love and surrender any excuse to dislike another person. Because as long as you got a reason that you can validate why you don't like somebody that's never done anything to you and you never met, then that is a tool of divide and conquer that you are being duped into acting on as if it was your marching orders. Mm, okay. I'm looking for questions in the comments. I answered Ryan Bush question. Let's see if I see anybody else. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I just answered the other question. Uh, are the beings doing as souls that have just made the free will decision to do this or that? I just answered that. Look, the blood and the right. The only thing negative that's going to happen to anybody in the once the matriarchal system take online, the only people, right, that's going to be punishable under that system is going to be the ones who follow all of this hatred. They don't care about what your skin color is. When we get the tribal lands back, some of the chiefs don't want no pale faces around because they still believe that the pale face is the white man and they don't know the white man ain't white. Because if they knew that, then they would realize that the person that's being used as a cat's paw is being manipulated by a nigga darker than you with nappy hair. Yep, that's the message that we got at the River Styx. And if you don't have your 2 pence to cross or your 2 farts to cross, you can't get across the river because you can't board the boat. The boat, the guy who rows the boat is Anpu. And they send him because he don't take no for an answer. When it's time, it's time. Like, oh, my girl. Happy belated birthday, Christina. Um, yeah, so remember, Kamala job in the show called Politics is to fail miserably. The reason why is it's the fall of the whore of Babylon as written in Revelations. So her chucks and pearls, it's at least three, maybe four Kamala Harris's, and one of them just so happened to be a man, just like the Statue of Liberty. Well, we don't call it suicide um, because the elders that do it realize that there's nothing I can do to solve the problem, and I don't see the problem being solved. Therefore, I can no longer withstand seeing the suffering from the problem being perpetuate. And so, because of that, I'll see you later. Tiamat the dragon is not a physical dragon, it's a stream of energy that moves around on the ley lines of the planet. Dragon mean master. Normally, when you call somebody a dragon, they are the master speaker who's spitting flames in the words that he's saying, right? In the culture, we had what's called a dragon war bonnet. The dragon chiefs, right? Chief Zolo, Tupac Amaru, Tahuti, all of those were the highest chiefs. They called dragon chiefs. And they wear the long war bonnet that drags the ground. Lafia. Yep. So, looking, anybody else got any questions? I'm starting to wear down now. Enjoy having y'all or being here with y'all in this space and time, and hope that we can garner the 100 monkey effect and reach critical mass in this massive turnaround that's taking place of Spaceship Earth. I call it Spaceship Earth sometimes. And we walking around in Earth rovers suits. Okay, so the different colors of butterflies. You remember this about the butterfly. Butterfly is the symbol of the one who has went through the molten stages and came out as the beautiful butterfly, but they went in as a slimy maggot looking caterpillar. The colors tell you either who is talking to you in your ancestral line, or it's related to your tribal colors, or related to something that has a key significance to you in the colors that the transformation of the butterfly represent. The butterfly also represents what's called the butterfly effect, where a butterfly flapping his wings in Los Angeles, the energy by the time it go from LA to New Orleans, from LA to Dallas to New Orleans to Chicago to Detroit to New York to London to Turkey to India, by the time it gets to Japan, it's a full-fledged uh, tsunami rolling in. And the side effect is it generates a mass Mandela effect where events are not any longer as you remember them because there was a subtle shift in the timeline. The monarch butterfly is known as a spirit messenger to the Shinigami, or in Europe to the kings of Europe. And over here, it would be to the chiefs, right? And then you use the colors in your decoding of the message that's being relayed to you by way of the butterfly. The A tone is a pitch and a frequency that allows the people to all vibrate on a very specific frequency, the A tone. In Arabic, it's the Ain. 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 It's the A tone. The A on the musical scale that carries the pitch and the frequency through the musical scale in order to get to the scales of Mott in order to determine if the balance has been met. And when you look at the scales of Mott and this been cashed in, the heart was as light as a feather. So they give you back your heart and they replace the feather with a feather on the other side of the scale because it's perfect balance that balanced itself. And as long as the weight is the same, the balance becomes perpetual. In other words, there is no loss of energy when things are perfectly in balance. That means no entropy. And because there's no entropy, there is no conflict in the energy. Now the energy begins to operate in what's called a superconductive capacity. In my flux flow capacity, it's nothing short of mastery. That's why these riding bastards be endlessly after me, hoping life would try or to destiny or tragedy would capture me, right? So it's the A and not the minors. Yep, all hail the Queen of Heaven and Earth. So we have reports that there's a fleet coming, and we have reports that there's a lone ship. We call those jumper ships, using modern terminology, because they shuttle from Earth to Nibiru when Nibiru is in a certain distance from Earth. But before they come, they send probes and drones to any planet that they intend to visit. So you will have a secondary orb around your moon, which is a satellite that's using gravity assist that's in the orbit for a certain period of time, right? And that certain period of time is the time required to get for Nibiru to get from where it was when the secondary moon arrived, and when it leave, Nibiru will be right there. Yep, shout out to the Napi tribe, Unami clan, Algonquin nation up in this piece. Yep, yep, them all tied back to the um, Gullah Wars and the conflict, right? We don't know when this is going to be over until it's actually exposed and is over. Right now, they running these false narratives and these sensational news stories in order to get you to continue to push for a new slave master that they call the president. And as long as you pushing for that, they know that you are too asleep in order to be a threat to the mass awakening. When enough of us come online and critical mass is reached, it's time for shocking off for the rest of them. I appreciate it, Holy Living. Where do Coupe? What's going on? Cheryl said it not between two rivers here in New York City. Look, when I thought I was just visiting people, right? I was staying with Sylvia over in Delaware. I didn't know I was spending time with the Delaware Indians, right? Them the ones Trump just said that they would be a federally recognized tribe once he resumed his powers in office as the president. But what people don't know is when the power structure shifts over, ain't gonna be no need for no president because the matriarchs is gonna be um, in charge of filtering the assets to the relief like this the disaster relief that's being withheld right now. Right. Okay. So Raven, what you talking about? So she said Keisha still walk-ins are souls that don't want to experience the artificial reality. Where did she go? From birth and take over the avatar at a later stage of life rather than coming through the birth canal. That's actually most of the walk-ins. They have to pick up a contract of a person that's no longer believe they can fulfill the obligations in a book of life, and they can tag another ancestor in as a walk-in to finish the job, and they the ancestor that's been guiding them the whole time anyway, so they already know where he at in the workbook in order to get the answers that he need in order to pass the test. Okay, you get well, Christina, High Priestess. Protect them golden eyes, by the way. Appreciate you, Iron Bush. Appreciate you. Hey, Emmy Lou. Yep, we the collective. Take all of us to be the collective. Yep. Oh man, I don't know. I ain't heard from Top Cats or Dane, but I'm sure ready for the next installment just to chop it up with my brothers for no other reason. I'm I want all the love in me. I want all the love you can send me. You can put some in the box. You can put it in the bottle. You can send it by trailways. You can send it by airplane. It don't matter how it get here. Just send all that love. I want all the love because I'm tired of the hate. I want all the love. No, he was not in protective custody in Cuba. Tupac had confirmed about 5 hits on his life. Tribes need Tupac's intelligence and his leadership capability on the flip. We had two options. Let them devils get him and kill him, or we can take him off the chessboard and put him in what's called a advisory capacity to the next one that's coming to solve the problem. The next one to come to solve the problem gonna be the last one, and the last one be me, the last fucker breathing. So he's able to feed me information and signs from wherever he had in the world without ever having a conversation with me, just to let me know I ain't dead. I heard a rumor I died, murdered in cold blood, dramatized. Pictures of me in my final stages. You know, mama cried. That shit was fiction. Some coward got the story twisted, like I no longer existed, mysteriously missing. I'm not no haphazard bars, right? And he said, right before your very eyes, you won't even realize you can't see me. John Cena, Vanilla Gorilla. You can't see me, right? So Cheryl Jones is on here and she's putting out a New York City and Virginia call um, for her to assist you in setting up your homeschool system. Cheryl, you want to come on and tell us about some of what you do and how you who you can reach? I'm sending you a request now. Because that's important because they finna have some more school violence that's unnecessary and uncalled for from them psychologically altering these children, right? See if they'll let you in, Cheryl. I sent you the request so we could talk about these homeschooling programs. Trailways. Listen, there's no way possible when that shit don't line up. I don't give a damn what his daddy said. You ain't getting cremated and no autopsy in 24 hours. It's not finna happen. First of all, you got protocols because they got to wait a certain amount of time to make sure you dead for real. So, um, Cheryl, on the bottom of your screen, wait a minute. Uh, shit. It's going to send you a notification when I invite you and you accept the notification, then it'll pull you right on the screen. Okay, I just sent it again. It should either pop up or you're going to have something light up on the bottom of your screen to let you know that I'm requesting for you to join. Yeah, I know. I got Rodney Hicks and Flint. He from the same Crenshaw area, Chicago. I'm from, and he his family is in mortuary science. And then I got my boy out of Grand Rapids, Haywood Nelson. His family is in mortuary science, right? So I know you're not finna have an autopsy and cremate a body to spread the ashes 24 hours after it happened. That's just not gonna happen. First of all, the autopsy gotta wait in line for the other dead motherfuckers that came in before this dead motherfucker. And that's going to take hours because the average time for an autopsy is roughly 4 hours. So a coroner working a regular schedule is only getting like 2, 3 autopsies done a day if he's doing a full autopsy. They got something called partial autopsies where they're not really looking for the cause of death, but they put in the innards of the person into a vacuum sealed bag now, but they used to just tie him into a plastic bag and stuff him back in the cadaver, right? But there's no way you finna be, And then it's 3 different BMWs, one with the gold rims, one with the silver rims, and the hatchback. Then you got the people from the grounds crew saying they seen Tupac get put in the helicopter, but you got Suge Knight supposed to be riding in the back of the ambulance all the way to the hospital. One of them lying. I don't know which one it is, but I know enough to know one of them lying, right? Another anomaly in the Tupac case is in his music, he told us exactly what he was going to do. Okay, so it wouldn't let. I saw the invite when I clicked on it. It went to App Store. You must not have YouTube on your device, and they want you to download YouTube in order to get on to the live. Um, oh, that the guy that you're talking about, Corey Ivy, his name is Akil, and he's from a group called the Hieroglyphics that was out right before Tupac came out. They was out like 89, 90 to like 93, and Tupac came out like 90, 91, like that. And so the goal is to keep people talking about the chief. If you are one of his tribe members, you will always keep people remembering the name of the chief. It's the nature of us as a collective. And because we know our nature, that can serve as a catalyst or a tool to read the circumstances surrounding almost anything that takes place on the land. If you one of the chiefs, you can read the land well enough to know, oh yeah, that was a 6'4" plaid lumberjack shirt wearing, combat boot walking, dusty ass jeans guy from the middle of Kentucky that done that crime based on the scene, right? But you need to get your experience of code cracking up in order to crack the codes of the crime scene in order to establish justice in the field. Oh yeah, Emmy Lou, I know you've been already aware. You can't your tribe, you've been woke up for your tribe. Look, I don't know if they sent Swift Taylor to infiltrate the Chiefs, but they not even the problem. The pale face is not the problem. It's the motherfuckers that look like us, but they ain't us, but they want us to believe they us while they trying to take our birthright, and we supposed to freely surrender our birthright to them because we too stupid to know our asshole from a hole in the ground. Yeah. So I'm looking for any more questions. It look like I'm about running out of time. I gotta go fix me some vittles. Any more questions? Y'all better put them in the chat. If you want to come up before I go, send me a request now. Hope I was able to give y'all some productive and meaningful information throughout the course of this broadcast, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on in real time. It's so much stuff that it's difficult to keep up with if you don't buckle down and focus on what's in front of you, right? By dealing with the task at hand, you open up a way to see different all the way across the land. Dolo Ray J say any throat chakra inspiration. Um, the throat chakra is activated by you speaking up for what you feel, believe, or think is right without regard for what another person might say about you, do to you, or none of that. You stand in the position of right. I mean, I'm right from where I'm standing, and I'm telling the truth. So now you have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with it because I did my due diligence to one, present truthfully the information, and two, be right when I came to the game. Yeah, I'm waiting to see the Three Kings walking. That's going to be a monumental event. Hopefully, I don't know. We might shit. We might get one of them out of Cat Farms, or Larry might have a farm or something, and just so we can video them walking across the land together. And they were telling us that we each other enemy, and we was being infiltrated by an enemy that was convincing us to murder each other, and we fell for it. We got caught up in it. Singing is always a beautiful exercise for the throat chakra because that love song, like singing love songs, get you in the frequency of love and then make the pitch and the tone of your vocals come out clearer, crisper, and more heartfelt. Okay, Curry Ivy, I see you later, sweetie. I'm about to pull up out too. I was trying to make sure that I don't have anybody else asking questions before I dip. Yes, the Cheryl Jones, the sacrifice of telling the truth before other people can perceive what you're talking about is you are presumed to be an insane lunatic who have no freaking clue what you're talking about. Right? That's the side effect of it. Because if you're telling the truth, you're gonna hit people in a way that they're gonna condemn themselves for being a failure and not knowing what you just informed them of. And you didn't even intend for that to happen. Nature just took its course, and their contentment with disastrous government and tyrannical rulership of people hiding in secret places, then if you don't speak up against it, you become complicit in it. Therefore, you can't cry foul, right? When you get caught up with your enemy that you thought was your friend, right? Because Mama say the stealer is bad as the stealer. If you sat there and watched them people torturing them other people, now you know why we got tortured. We got punished by our sins, not for our sins. The sins was the way that a new species of human was created in the laboratory that bypassed the approval of Prime Creator and the Earth Guardians, and it was all being concealed with something called sulfurite or sulfur's rights, which is supposed to be a chemical to mask um, carbon, um, supposed to balance. The sulfur is supposed to conceal what the carbon would instead balance, and it leaves it off and demented. And this is how you generate serial killers without even knowing it. I take all that spiritual protection in me, Lou, all that. I want all of the spiritual protection. Let all of the good, benevolent ancestors to come in to aid and assist in this struggle for this righteous endeavor to assist us as we move wise and clever through the battlefield of this tumultuous war zone created by our sworn enemies that swore to be our enemies, but we never swore to be nobody enemy. We just believed in the right to defend ourselves because part of the right to self-determination is the ability to be able to protect yourself from hostile situations. If you can't protect yourself from hostile situations and you think that you're free, you deluding yourself in order to fit comfortably into a system that was designed to rip your soul from your chest without asking your permission. The earlier video that I did was I wanted the people to go to Instagram and everybody send a copy of that video to Lil Larry so he can go over the duress information with Larry's attorney. And this is going to take the question that the judge was asking, how many deaths is Larry responsible for? The question is how many lives have he saved by changing the material belief patterns of a rogue group of people that was detrimental to his community and trying to take that threat of duress into a direction of positive outlets, and people still used his name to do dirt when he was trying to change the whole community by moving from gangster disciple to growth and development. So we only just wanted to get the message to Lil Larry so he can know how to proceed with talking to the attorney to help his father best. And can't nobody say they love Larry more than Lil Larry and Winnie. You can say it, but it don't make it true, right? And for this nightmare to be over, the truth has to be exposed, right? Now, we needed what's known as a catalyst event, right? For Larry to be put in the position to be released on his own away from the system, right? And the justification that comes in off of the duress defense shows that he had never intended to be part and partial to a criminal enterprise in any form, shape, or function, right? So if you don't present the most pertinent assisting information on behalf of Larry, that you just wasting time, you're not really trying to get him out. And I really don't trust the lawyers, but if little Larry know what need to be done and they still on some shenanigans, then that's when the tribe's gonna start preparing to get involved. But that's not necessary if they tell the truth and the judge knew what Larry had to endure during the course of his term in Illinois state penal system, right, before he was indicted out of there and shipped off to the federal AdMax and different federal facilities leading up to that. So once you get the information to somebody that knows the defense strategy, by putting the ball back in the court of the judge, it's not how many live deaths is he responsible for, it's how many lives have he changed for the better, right? He's changed far more lives for the better than any murder he could ever possibly be responsible for. For every government allegation of a murder, he's done 10 times the work to help 10 times more people than that to follow the right track, to get the right information in order to develop into the best people throughout his community that thrust him in this position and threatening with his life to never let it go. I know some Gatlins, but I haven't ran into them so long that the last name is like an echo in memory. What it do, Monique Williams? What it do? Jared Hill, Pete 74. Hope all is well. What the best way to find out what tribe we belong to, especially when the elders don't know or parents act like they don't want to teach us. So the first thing you have to do is know where is your prominent point of origin that the most amount of your relatives can point to and say, we came from over there, right? My point of origins traced to Mississippi on both sides of my family. My father is from Canton, Mississippi, and my mother is from Magnolia, Mississippi. And my grandfather used to own the majority of that land in Magnolia, Sunflower, all the way to Tylertown and all those places down there. And that became a sharecropper's dream to pillage my grandfather's farmland for the purpose of economic development. So by tracing back to where the most amount of your ancestors that or relatives that you know can say we from there, that then you look at the tribes that's on record as being from that area, and then you try to find images to see what the people look like, because some of them, like I got a red pitch with nappy um dark brownish red hair, right? And I got a certain facial characteristic that's characteristic to the nations of the Algonquins, but my tribal affiliation comes in through being dual Mississippi bloodlines. On my father's side, they totem is the giraffe. They stand tall and proud, drinking alcohol, talking loud, looking out over the crowd, right? That's the fatherland. So when that's how you trace yourself. You got motherland, fatherland. Sometimes your mother and father might have met in one city, but both of their origins trace back to the same city. So that's the best starting place to determine what your tribes were. Yeah, a lot of times they didn't tell us to protect us because if we claimed that we was from certain tribes, that was a death penalty by the Black Hand. Hmm. Um, where do a lot of this psyop stuff you see going on is to pacify the public by entertaining them in the political arena so they won't see the war being fought. It's war being going fought all over the world in underground tunnels, but they don't want to expose the public to what's going on until a certain level of the cleanup has been actually and factually verifiably completed. Then they're gonna use one of these false flag events. I don't call them false flags. I call them time orchestrated alarms in order for them to tell you what's taking place, right? Um, yeah, Mary Magdalene is Mary of the Magdala. Mary mean in Europe the rebellious woman, but in Kemet she is the queen mother that walks the land of Ta Mary and oversees the children under her domain as the goddess shepherd of the people, right? And this is why Mary had a little lamb. Yeah, you definitely got to be careful who you trust. Um, Somebody say, "Hi, Chief Natalie Jenkins." Say, if your parents come from North, the two different places, so that still don't minimize your birthright and your original status on the land. It's just that you come from two different tribal bloodlines that, when your parents got together, was connected. Appreciate you, Jared Hill. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the families have toxic people in them that feel my cousin just hit the lotto for $80 million. I'm finna call him because he gonna give me $100,000 of that money. No, the fuck I ain't. I might give it to you if you come with a plan that makes sense on what to get, what I'm giving it to you for. But that's my money. That don't have nothing to do with you. Just because I got it don't mean you got it. You can't count my money for me. You can't count my assets for me. That's my job. You can't come in because you think because we family and we got the blood that you just gonna take my shit and do what you want to do with it. That's utterly ridiculous. Now you done totally disrespected me as a human being, let alone disrespected me as a man or a gorilla that's about to dribble your ass like a basketball. Go on, Diane. Diane Span, where you from? I had some homeboys last name Span. Oh, oh yeah, our culture. Ooh, Ariana Robinson, that's my girl. She's so fine. Um, I didn't even know she'd be watching me. I thought I'd just be looking. Hey, Ariana Robinson, Black Girl Magic over there. Yeah, anytime you mix two bloodlines, you're gonna have generational curses from two different families. And that's going to a lot of times to be difficult for the one whose job it is to break generational curses. And because you got the disposition and the natural know-how to fix your fatherland, but when it comes to fixing your motherland, you can't even relate to them people, or vice versa. You got everything that it take to recover your motherland, but your fatherland, you can't figure them niggas out. Yeah, go and get into your shit, Black Girl Magic. You want to come up and talk while I'm on here before I go? Cheryl. Okay, I'm gonna Cheryl up. The person was unable to join because of technical issues. I'm so sick of that shit. East Coast spans. Yeah, I had a homeboy named Jerry Span I went to school with. I ain't really known him that well though. I went to school with Travis Henry, um, and like like when I see him, he's like a little brother to me or something. He always give me a shout out. I'm gonna see if I can let you in, Ariana. I don't know. It wouldn't let the last Cheryl. It wouldn't let Cheryl in. See if it let you in. I sent you the request. It should be at the top of your screen to say it's adding you. She so fine, so fine, blow the man, baby, baby, baby. What's going
What's
on,
good with
girl?
you, Chief? Nothing much. I just got in for real. I just was out socializing on some shit I don't even do for real.
Where you at? What city you from? Or you stay
I'm
in?
in it's called Pennsgrove, New Jersey. It's in South Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Like
You
right
on the
before you
side
get
of
to
land.
Delaware. Say it again.
I said you on the side of land.
Yeah, hell
That's
yeah.
black. That's the queen of black girl
Hell,
magic right there.
hell,
All of those
yeah.
girls and Afro priestesses. Them her, them her girls right there. They don't play.
I'm screaming, Chief. It's crazy because I'll be honest, I ain't even think you still remembered me for real. From that one time we had talked.
Yeah, how
But
you forget?
heavy on that black girl magic, Chief.
I put
On some real shit though, like I really I don't know, I feel like ever since that first time we talked, like I really just tapped in and like really started getting into my own little shit. Like I don't know, I be feeling cool as hell, like, doing my stuff and like I really more than anything be learning. Like I don't be trying to claim to do nothing because I feel like the number one thing with any type of any knowledge, like if you don't really understand it, I don't feel like you should be doing that shit. So like I feel like that's my number one thing. Like I always want to learn and fully understand what I'm doing and overstand that shit. But just learn about it. I'll be feeling cool as hell. Like this shit is so interesting and like, it's me. Like it's really me.
yeah. Black girl magic. I treat that shit like hot sauce and put it on everything I fuck with.
What? What do I want like everything? Like what? I be wanting to do magic for everything, just for some regular shit, like just cause I can. Like that should be just. It's like, oh wow, that's really me. But Chief, I really something I really been wanting to ask about, like
Let's go.
what what do you think, or where do you think, I guess, in this system that's about to, I guess, come about, where do you see like the school systems transferring into as far as like the duels and shit go? And as far as like these kids that like are still in or like modern day school system, like the ones that ain't been homeschooled yet, where do you see that like turning into?
Well, first, when the banks close, school's gonna close shortly after, right?
Okay.
The new education is a different paradigm.
Yep. Yeah.
The learning centers is not going to be a school. It's going to be a learning center. And the
The
learning
school
center
itself.
can use school buildings, but it's going to be predicated upon the open air teaching method. So you're going to have elders, right, whose job it is to teach the boys at different stages according to their specialty, right? Most people don't evaluate their life skill set because if they did, they'd know exactly what their life purpose or mission is. Because you got to look at all the stuff that you decided to learn and say, why did I even learn that shit when I don't do nothing with it? It was a
Mm-hmm.
program. It's a learning program to give you the tools to do something probably in an entirely different era later on, right? So when you go through all your skill set, that's the qualifications to the job that's your life purpose. Now you gotta ask yourself, why would I need to know this shit? Oh no, that makes sense. Right? Or no, that don't make sense. Let me look somewhere else. Right? So you can learn about economics and health, and then you can use economics to manage health, and you can use health to benefit economics. You know, so
Okay.
it's different levels and layers of the awakening and where you gonna fit in the new age, in the dawn of a new world. So we going into golden age energy, which is a small cycle inside of a bigger cycle of iron age energy. So that's platinum group metals as the prevalent factor in the frequency. When you understand the frequency of each one of the platinum group numbers, atomic weight, call letters, and you begin to do the diligence on it, it begin to translate like a tarot card what the oracle
You said
is in the message.
this the platinum metal group, right?
Yeah, platinum group metals.
Okay.
Yeah. So iron is a soft metal, right? Gold is a soft
Mm-hmm.
metal, but
Mm-hmm.
gold is a platinum group metal, but iron is not,
Isn't.
right? Platinum, iridium, gold, silver. It's a couple more of them in there. But you also have people that won't be represented by the metals, they'll be represented by crystals, right? So you might got person who's born might be controlled or better able to manifest using the blue Merlin stone, which is an Andara stone. Or you might have the person that uses the jet stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the person that uses the ruby or the sapphire or the amber. But they all, it's just like people represent the groups of metal, they will also represent different crystals too. Matter of fact, what that's called your birthstone, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
that's the crystal that governs the frequency energy you own to amplify who you are in the world around you.
Okay, so if that's the case, then that's so crazy. But Uncle Rod, then my birthstone, I was born, or I'm a Pisces. My birthday is February 24th. So
And that's just
my
the one day
birthstone, I
after
guess, is
yours.
what?
Yeah, for
Come on
25th.
in. Come on in, that Pisces energy. But purple, to say all that to say, like purple, because my birthstone is amethyst. I feel like the color purple has always been like my favorite color my whole life. But like deeper than that, I really always felt like in tune with purple. Like I feel like in a more worldly sense, we relate that with with royalty. Like royalty wears purple. Kind of, and it's also like, in a spiritual sense associated with like a higher level of spirituality. But I don't know, like my whole life, I always like not even on no, I guess, spiritual shit. Like I've just on some regular shit, I've always just loved purple and like everything around me, like, like you said, like it's been saturated in purple. I don't know, like can you speak to that? Like what would that even mean? Like,
Purple is the royal art degree. The
and don't
royal,
you always say that be the mixture of the red house and the blue house?
yeah. So you representing two pillars, as
Damn.
one pillar is red, one
Yeah.
pillar is blue, right? And the arc between the two meets at what's called the capstone over the top of the door. The
Mm-hmm.
capstone is the final stone to commemorate the building. But the first stone laid is called the cornerstone or the keystone. If you don't know what the cornerstone or the keystone is, you will never understand the capstone of the royal art degree because you have to master both red and blue. And now you arcing from the red pillar and the blue pillar, and it meet in the middle and it becomes the purple pillar, right? Or the middle pillar. So now, all this is training systems for the rightful heirs to wake up from the slumber to assert their
Mm-hmm.
birthright in order to overrule the fraudulent systems and restore balance back to the societies of the humans.
I should. Yeah, no, I really I don't know. I mean, when I asked that, I feel like I already knew, but I just still wanted to hear your opinion. But no, that very much so feel like what it is. Just because I know you always say like the mother line and the father line, like that being the red house and the blue house.
Mm-hmm,
I always be feeling like I'm the oldest too out of my mom and dad kids, the oldest girl. Well, I'm the only girl, but I'm the oldest.
mm-hmm,
And then, I mean, the one of the first times we spoke, I told you how my mom passed away.
mm-hmm.
What it would be 4 years ago now, and I don't know, just in her absence, like a lot of that shit has been shown to me. Like you had said, like I feel like as unfortunate as it was, and as fucked up as it still be having me, I feel like she did have to physically step aside in order for me to fully recognize where the fuck I need to be in life. Because I feel like I never would have asserted myself into that position if she was still here.
It's called getting out your way.
Hell yeah.
Life is a relay
Hell yeah.
race, right? Our ancestors passed us the baton so we can run into the future with it.
You know, and to Uncle Rod on some chat and shit, like, I be feeling like not feeling like, I know I'm definitely like an old soul. Like, I be so, what you be saying, tired of that shit. I'm at 21. I'm tired of this shit. Like, it's some motherfuckers older than me. Y'all had 30, 40 years on me, and y'all just still, I don't even know, but I'm just like, you know, I definitely that baton race. I'll be like, damn, even though I'm an old soul, like sometimes these lessons I'll be still having to learn be fucking me up, because it's like, damn. Like I think you had said that in one of the tapes you had recently did, like you won't have like people come into your, like, you know, sphere, and it's a baton race to them. You had said that you was like, you know, they just there to help you with something, and then they pass you off to the next person.
Yeah,
And then, you
so
know,
in the game, right, in our book of life, we have what's called walk-in characters. They only came in that one page of the book or that one chapter, and then they gone forever. But then you have what's called repeating characters. They might come every other chapter, every second chapter, every fourth chapter, but they keep popping up in this storyline. That's your book of life, right? And the more they pop up, you then after a while you can see the role they playing in your life clearer. Some people just came to teach you how to be a good friend, and some people came to teach you how to be the worst asshole anybody ever seen. You're gonna get both lessons
yeah,
because you work in between severity, the harsh lesson, and mercy, the benevolent lessons, the lessons that you learn by observation as opposed to the ones you gotta experience. The harsh um, ones are the ones you have to experience, meaning you have to go through an emotional range
yeah.
in order to flip out of that cycle. And until you go through the whole emotional range, you can't get out of the cycle. You keep skipping an emotion, right? It's the same if you riding a bike. If your chain miss a link, it'll jump off the track.
Mm-hmm. And keep popping.
Yeah.
Dang, Uncle Rod, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's about it for me, sweetie.
Yeah, you seem tired. I'm gonna let you go.
No, I ain't tired. I just been
Well,
chiefing.
yeah, I was about to say, it seemed like you
this
know,
this
done
the
with
chiefing with
this.
this chiefing with the chief session. You know?
Yeah, I was about to say, it seemed like you done chiefing with this, with chiefing with us. It seemed like you done with it.
Yeah, I just put this bad boy out. I got half of it left.
What? Cause Uncle Rod, you be chiefing for real. What you smoke? What you smoke? Like, what's your rap, or what you be
I
rolling up?
use organic hemp wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get different strains. I got two brothers that smoke worse than me, way more than me, and so and I got some nephews that can outsmoke me too. But I smoke after at the end of the day, stuff be done. They smoke
Mm-hmm.
all day.
Yeah. That be me. I'm gonna smoke all day.
Yeah, I gotta wake up. I gotta get over being high yesterday before I can get high today, or else I'll lose a whole day.
Shit, you probably would for real.
Yeah.
But Uncle Rod too, I'm gonna let you go. But I just wanted to know, like, since you be remembering me and shit, like, could I hit you up? Cause I be having hella questions, like I be
Girl,
wanting to ask and shit.
You ain't even had to ask that.
I ain't had to ask, but I just wanted to ask out of courtesy, cause I was like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
can I just hit him
So
up?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I take video calls on Messenger and on Instagram Messenger, and only when I don't answer, I be doing something. Otherwise, if I ain't doing nothing, I just answer and like, "Hey, what's going on? How can I help you?"
Well, you really a regular ass dude. I fuck with that heavy, bro.
Yeah, I'm regular as hell. I'm super regular. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, that's the solution.
Right.
Is to be
But
super
what's
regular.
making a problem is people think that I'm supposed to feel like I'm so much of the big cheese function of a real chief. A real chief supposed to feel like I'm so much of the big cheese that I can't be personable. That's not the function of a real chief. A real chief is
Yeah.
approachable. Just don't come with no bullshit because you might get checked the wrong way.
Don't come with no bullshit. Don't come with no bullshit, cause then I gotta check you.
Yeah, because the book of Dilligath says, verse 1, chapter 1, fuck around and find out.
What? So saith the Lord.
Yeah. Uh, all right, sweetie, I'm gonna let you go.
All
Um,
right, Chief. You be safe out
yeah,
here.
just hit me up though.
All right.
All right. Okay, that's it for me, people. I'm about to go get me some vittles. I got the munchkins now. Or I say the Oompa Loompas. Whichever one you get from the herbals. Because remember Grady on Sanford and Son, when they made the salad and then they thought they was putting parsley in the salad and they was putting the herbs in there and Grady was feeding it to the to Hoppy and Smitty, and the more they ate, the hungrier they got. And he said, and then Grady find out that it's herb in there, and he said, "Oh man, I think they got the munchkins." Hey, look, Holy Living, all I could do is smile because we got a real great day coming ahead of us with some real fascinating things to see of a benevolent nature. We just gotta watch the labor pains of this bullshit birth this next reality, right? So I pinned the comment in the from Cheryl Jones um, about she said anybody interested in support for transitioning to teaching or educating your child outside the system inbox me. That's Sister Cheryl Jones. So she over here on uh, Facebook with me. For the people that's gonna see this on somebody else's channel somewhere else, his sister name is Cheryl Jones, not with a S, not a C. SHERYLJONES, and she's offering support for people that's trying to get acclimated in the homeschooling instead of sending their child to these deaf camps because that's what they're about to turn into. The plan is if the parents don't decide to take the children out of school, the plan from the deep state is to force them to take them out by putting as many of them deliberately and willfully in harm's way as possible until so many parents pull their child out of school, they have to shut it down because there's no way that any of this senseless school violence should be condoned by this system when they're using it to try to get you to stop sending your child to those places where they teach them how to be devils. This is all they doing is teaching them how to be the best devil they can be or the best slave they can be. Ain't no middle ground. You either gonna be a little demon or you gonna be a slave. I'm not familiar with the story of the the school bus in Thailand, so I can't answer you, sweetie. Yeah. So sure. Jones said that Trump gave you the option to take the money out of the system and pay who you choose to teach your child. So she's talking about the budget allocated for your child to attend public schools. You can take that budget and the school will give you the voucher in order to pay the private educator of your choosing. They use taxpayer money to fund this, which really not using taxpayer money. They really using federal, no, not Federal Reserve, International Monetary Fund and World Bank proceeds, right? Tax dollars is just used to calculate the amount of slaves that's still duped. They can tell how many of us is still entranced in this spell by how many of us participating in the IRS scandal that y'all don't even know it's a scandal yet. The IRS is a whole scam and scandal. They are a foreign collection agency hired by the Federal Reserve, another foreign agency, to be a collection agency and to go around and compel people to sign contracts agreeing to pay for them to remain poor, broke, and ignorant. That's the way it is. So, yeah, yeah. The, the IRS is a private collection agency. It's not a government agency. And this is why the they was issuing a challenge for somebody to show them where paying tax is obligatory. No, it's elective, and they use the corporations to dupe you into signing the contract and becoming a um, a mind controlled zombie or a drone worker slave. That's what the whole inflation and tear down your economy and all that. That's what all that is, keeping you enslaved and in bondage, right? So, yeah, this is based on people signing contracts. That's what it is. They got so many contracts now. Almost everything you do comes with a contract. So all trickery and trappery, right? So, Um, I hope I was able to give y'all some good information today. I'm about to be out of here. I'm about to go get me some vittles because my stomach is crying wolf. Hey, Kelly. It's going to be a moratorium at the beginning of the shift on people paying rent due to the banks being closed and nobody having access to the money to pay the bills. All that stuff has to be taken, the responsibility has to be taken over by the federal government under the SB 191 or 192 that was the um, agreement of the government to pay your utilities and rent in the bankruptcy, and they've been using it against us and concealing it from us, right? But it was the bankruptcy that said that they would have to foot these bills. So when the banks collapse and there's no way for you to go pull your money out because there's no branches open nowhere, um, whoever is pretending to be the commander in chief at the time is going to have to do a state of emergency executive order to ban and suspend all evictions for non-payment, right? The only people they'll be allowed to evict is what's called a unlawful squatter, a trespasser, right? And you can lump a trespasser up in the law and be in the right. just so you know. Yeah, Bank of America has been running into a lot of difficulties, and I'm supposed to have been posted it already, but I'm behind, about a day behind on posts, and I'm about 3 days behind on my messages, but I'm trying to catch up. I'll catch up. I'll be caught up by today, Friday. By Sunday, I'll be caught up with all my messages. So if y'all got something y'all need me to talk to me about, inbox me, and while I'm answering my messages, we can get to the answers that you're looking for. And my girl India in here. What's up, India? All right, peeps. It was good chatting with y'all, but now the food calling me. Peace out.